What up, Jippers? L-Play's back, and today we've got a bit of a special video because on Saturday I went to the Video Games art exhibition at the V&A Museum in London, and of course No Man's Sky was featured there with some really cool stuff that I hadn't seen before. So we're going to show all of that and talk about it in this video, as well as some of the other really cool video game stuff that we saw at the exhibition. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. I did pick up a little flyer from the event and I got a load of spare ones of those, so maybe we'll give some of those away. But as well as that, I also picked up 2 copies of this. So this was the exhibition book that went with the event, and it has got some No Man's Sky art in there. Not very much, but I thought I'd grab a spare one to give away to one of you Jippers out there. And if you want a chance to grab one of those, all you have to do is make sure you're in the Jipper Colony Discord and stay tuned for the giveaway. So yeah, hopefully that'll be fun. And I did also want to say a very big thank you to Vanilla. I did get to meet a couple of Jippers, a couple of Patreon supporters, and of course MZK and Robot Boy. And this art here was something that Vanilla gave to me as a little gift. So that was really freaking cool. And I just had a great time meeting everyone. So hopefully there are more No Man's Sky meetup things happening in the future. I really would love to go to a No Man's Sky convention because meeting loads of other people that love the game was just such a good time. But yeah, let's jump into the exhibition and see what it was all about. So in the exhibition, they actually had a whole ton of different games and really cool stuff for us to see. As soon as we walked in, they had like a big screen playing Journey, and what was really cool was for all of the games, they had loads of really nice little behind the scenes type stuff that we all got to dig into and take a look at. So for example, for the Journey section, they had this little video wall of loads of the developers going out to the beach to actually record motion and sound of them playing around in the desert, waving flags around and all of that kind of stuff. And that's what they used, you know, that was their reference material, the actual mechanics and the movement and the sounds that they added into the final games. And there was stuff like that for all of the games, and it was just really interesting to get a look behind the scenes of that process. And we all thought it was quite funny for the Journey one because most developers would probably just go out into the car park and wave a flag around, but they actually thought, let's go on a little adventure, let's go on a jolly, we'll take a few days out of the office and go down to the desert and actually do all of this stuff on a real beach in the real sand. And that was just kind of funny to see, and it certainly looks like they had a lot of fun doing that. They also had some really cool little pieces from all of the games. Things like notebooks where they jotted down all of their development notes and ideas. And it was really interesting to delve into that and see some of those early concepts jotted down, scribbled out. That was something I never really got to have a look at before, you know. The really early note-taking and concepts and ideas and how they kind of captured all that in their little notebooks and bring it together. And then you got to see stuff for games like The Last of Us where they showed a load of early footage of really basic prototype environments where the buildings and things were just textureless blocks as they were kind of piecing together the ideas. And it was just great, like, seeing this for all of these awesome games. And one thing that was definitely really freaking cool was the concept art, the really early work, the sketches. Some of that stuff was so freaking beautiful to look at, and I think a lot of it was stuff that's probably never been shown off before for all of the games, not just for No Man's Sky, but for The Last of Us, for Journey, for Bloodborne. There was some really beautiful artwork for all of these games, and it was kind of nice seeing that, seeing the early jottings and doodlings in the notebooks and the ideas that they were coming up with, then their sketches, then that kind of progressing into the early concept art, then that of course moving into the full product and the actual video game footage that we were seeing. It kind of tied it all together, and it was really interesting to see all of that in one place in a room at the same time and kind of look at how that evolves into a full game. So I definitely had a lot of fun at this place, and it was just a unique experience that I don't think a lot of people get to have if you're just someone who enjoys video games and plays them. You don't normally get to dive that deep into the kind of behind the scenes type stuff. So definitely a really cool exhibition, and I hope they do more stuff like this in the future. They also had a really big section on Splatoon, and that is one of Miss L-Play's favourite games, so she was definitely loving this little area. They had loads of the outfits and graffiti all over the wall. They had little screens showing all of the different outfits you can get in-game. Loads of really beautiful concept work and artwork once again. And what was really interesting for me for the Splatoon section was they actually showed some early prototype stuff where the characters were originally going to be little white rabbits and not squids. So apparently they went through quite a lot of the development and design stuff early on with with that idea that the characters would be rabbits, and then someone turned around and said, well, hold on, this doesn't make any sense because rabbits don't squirt paint or ink or anything like that, so we should change them to something that does. And that, of course, is how they came up with the squids, which, as we all know, took off big time. They're absolutely beloved by fans of the game now, and Splatoon has gone on to do incredibly well. So yeah, I think that was quite a key pivot moment for them early on in the design. I don't feel like rabbits would have been as fun at all. So yeah, that was kind of interesting to see that as one of those big changes that just kind of happens through the process of making a game. Of course, they had to throw in some actual fun video game stuff for us to do while we were there as well, even though we were just having a great time looking at all of the art and talking about it. So they did have a little arcade area out the back, and I think we all had a lot of fun just messing around with some of the little games out there. Especially these two little kids. They seemed to be really enjoying it, which was quite fun to see. And of course, L Plays the Gaming Master had to conquer the little arcade game. As you can see from this footage, I was born to play games. Then, of course, there was the bit we were all waiting for, the No Man's Sky area, and we actually spent a long time just standing around looking at all of the stuff and all of us getting together and talking about the game here. I think in total we were in the exhibition for like 3 hours, and it was only really small. It wasn't like a huge exhibition. There were only a couple of little areas, and we just lost track of time completely, talking, speculating, just having fun, getting to know each other and talking about our love of the game. So that was something that was really awesome, and probably the best thing about the whole event. Now, I am going to show all of the stuff from the No Man's Sky exhibit really clearly in a moment, and I'll be completely quiet so you guys can just enjoy that, because I know a lot of you won't be able to go to the event, and there is some really cool stuff there that's definitely worth sharing. But I just want to talk about some of my favorite things that I saw there. They had a video screen board that was just showing loads and loads of footage of pre-release build stuff, really early game footage, and that was just awesome. There were definitely some on there that I hadn't seen before, and it was quite staggering to see all of the variation and the bright color palettes that were used in the early work. And I'm hoping at some point that kind of makes it across into the final build, and we get there now that Next has really improved the detail and the texturing. I hope they can expand a little bit more and be more adventurous with the color palettes and the variation, and start to bringing some of that older vibe stuff into the new style. I feel like those two things would merge together so freaking well. Now, it was all pre-release stuff. They did have a little bit of Next gameplay playing on one of the small screens just so people could see the final product. There wasn't any footage of a future update or anything like that. Of course, that's not how Hello Games operate, and that wasn't what this whole exhibition was about. But there were some really interesting stuff that got us all thinking and talking about the future of the game. Specifically, they had a reference board, and this was real life stuff or other game stuff that they had used for inspiration or are still using for inspiration. So they had screenshots from games like Eve. They had loads and loads of pictures from real world places, real world environments and biome types that were really interesting actually, and some cool creatures that definitely aren't in the game at the moment. Things like really exotic, crazy looking spiders, beautiful swamp jungle areas, countries all across the world, references to things like lava and volcanoes. And we did have a little bit of fun kind of thinking, well, maybe if they're still showing this stuff and they've still got that on their ideas board, maybe those are concepts and things that we might eventually see in the game. And even if none of that stuff makes it into the game, it was just really interesting actually getting to see all of the pictures and reference material that they had used, as well as the comic book and novels and artwork from other sci-fi artists that they'd drawn inspiration from. It was that delving behind the scenes that was just really freaking fun. So yeah, I definitely had a good time, but that's enough of me jibber-jabbering. Let's take a look at the No Man's Sky section of the V&A art exhibition.
Sky, I will try to fly. Show me another sun, I will carry on. Sloop has been the same change. Your journey's never done. Look what you've become. Nothing makes you wonder like the stars. Give me the sky, and I will try to fly. Show me what you've done, and I will carry on.
So yeah, that was the exhibition, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this little vlog video. We did all have a lot of fun after the event. We all hung out in a little pub called the Bunch of Grapes nearby, and that was a really good time, just getting to know everyone a bit more, talking about No Man's Sky and gaming and just stuff in general. It was a lot of fun just hanging out, really. Something that I hope No Man's Sky fans can all get together and do more often, for sure. Now, not only did we all have a really good time meeting each other and hanging out in the pub afterwards at the exhibition, but I did get given something really, really freaking special to commemorate the event, to commemorate the No Man's Sky fans, the interlopers, all meeting up at the exhibition for the first time, and I definitely have to show this thing off. This was from Rasmus, so huge thank you to Rasmus. Definitely one of the coolest things I've ever been given, and yeah, let me just show you guys this. This is freaking insane. This absolutely beautiful little plaque here was given to me by Rasmus. He flew all the way from Denmark just to meet us and just to come to the event, so that in itself was just crazy. But then to get this from him was just really freaking special. It's a little commemorative plaque, and it has the little symbol on there made to look like a monument from No Man's Sky. So for those of you that play the game or have done the multiplayer, you'll know when you meet another player, you can place down a monument to commemorate the meeting of interlopers, and that's kind of what this was, but in real life, and it is really freaking cool. And it says that this plaque commemorates the historic meeting between L Plays Gaming, Robot Boy, MZK, Vanilla, Razor Mouse, and Totebo. So that was just a couple of us that all met. So that was just a few of us that all met up at the event. There were a load of others too, and it was really freaking fun meeting everyone. And I will forever have this on display as a really cool memento from that event. So thank you so much for that. So freaking cool. And we'll definitely have to try and arrange more meetups in the future, because that was absolutely awesome. This will definitely be going on display on my shelving when I get it put up in the studio. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'll definitely show you guys the studio once everything's set up. But yeah, what a freaking blast, and what an awesome community we've got around this game. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a like and a comment, and I will catch you in another one very soon. Take care, guys, and peace. Just want to give a very big thank you to every single one of my current Patreon supporters. Anarchy, Dale from the Atlas Hub, Vogear, David D, Dead D Reza, Forgotten Stoner, Heath, Husband Vader, Exo, Joanne Zay, Johnny, Good Handed, Lukash M, Mac for a Day, Madeline J, Malin Dog, Mark F, Amras, Neil B, NTB, Ongrad, Autumn Long, Paul Lawson, Rasmus K, Legion 245, Shiraka Majelli, Samwise Gekji, The Golden Gek, The Portrait Dude, Todd C, Todd H, Ty the Blazer, Vanilla, and Wyo. You guys are the best. Thank you so much.